What's going on, guys? John Elder here from codemy.com, and in this video, we're going to work on the music slider for our MP3 player with Tkinter and Python. Alright guys, like I said, in this video, we're going to start to work on the music slider for our MP3 player. But before we get started, if you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out codemy.com where I have dozens of courses with hundreds of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off membership. That's all my courses, videos, and books for a one-time fee at just $49, which is insanely cheap. Okay, so we are moving right along with our MP3 player. We've got most of this working now. In the last video, we worked on this elapsed time thing down at the bottom and the total time of a song. Now we want to create a slider, probably right around here, where we can sort of drag the slider around to move around in a song, change position, fast forward it, rewind it within a song. And so that's what we're going to start to work on in this video. And this is probably going to take us a couple of videos because it's not that complicated, but there's lots of moving parts to this. So I am using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. If you haven't seen the first few episodes of this little series, check the comment section below for a link to the playlist. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to create a slider, and we've created sliders lots of times throughout this playlist. And we know we need to import, it's a TTK module, so we need to import it from TTK. So let's go import tkinter.ttk as TTK. So now we can use the TTK stuff in our program. So let's now come down to the very bottom here and let's just create a simple slider. So we got a comment here, create music position slider. Let's just call this my slider. And this is going to be a ttk.scale widget. And we want to put it in root. And now we want to start out with from. What's the beginning position we want? Well, we want this from to equal 0. And don't forget your little underscore there. That's important. And then 2, let's just for now put it to 100. So from 0 to 100, that's going to be sort of the numerical value of our slider. For now, we'll change this based on what song is in there, obviously. And now we want to give this an orient equals horizontal. You can have a horizontal or a vertical slider, and we want a horizontal because we want to drag this around forward and back, sort of like a song would go forward and back. So that kind of makes sense. Let's give this now a value of 0. The value is the current position of the slider, right? So we want to start it at 0. That makes sense. And let's, for now, probably leave this at that. We're going to have to, well, let's give it a command while we're making this. So command equals slide. Now we haven't created this slide command yet. We'll do that in just a second. So, okay, now let's go my_slider.pack to pack this on the screen. And we want to give this a pad y of 20 just to push it down a little bit. And while we're thinking of it, let's come up here to where all of our functions are and create slider function. Let's just create this for now. So define slide and let's just give this a pass. So let's go ahead and save this and run it just to see if this, what this looks like. So got our Git Bash terminal. Let's run python player.py. We bring this over and we see we've got this button. And as we do, as we move it around, we're getting an error here because our slide function needs an argument. We're not actually passing it an argument. So, okay, this is very small and not that great. So let's do a couple things. Let's make this bigger and let's make our whole program a little bit bigger so everything's not scrunched in here. So, all right, let's head back over here. And first off, our slide function, the error is saying it needs an argument. So we'll just pass it x for now. Okay, so then we can come down here. Well, first let's come up here to the top and make our program. Let's give it 100 extra pixels lengthwise. So let's make this 450. We'll change this. We'll scale that back in a bit. But for now, that's fine. And let's come to our slider and let's give this a length equals like 360. And this is in pixels. And this is a lowercase l. I know it looks like a capital. Sublime Text just does that. It drives me crazy. So let's go ahead and save this. And let's run this again to see how this looks. Okay, so looking better. Now it's sort of the size of the box, the playlist box, right? And now as we move this around, we don't get any errors in our terminal because we passed that X into our command. So, okay, this is looking good. This is really smushed up here, so maybe I'm gonna give this more pad Y just to make it look a little better. So let's go, instead of pad Y of 20, let's give this a pad Y of 30. Save this and run it again just real quick just to make sure that looks a little better. All right, that's a little bit better, a little more space between there. I might even give it a little bit more, but that's fine for now. So, okay, now we've got this. We can add a bunch of songs and we can play one. And as we do, our time elapsed changes, right? And our total time is the same, but this, we want this to sort of slowly, kind of like this, move as the song plays, right? And we want it to end based on the song length. So right off the bat, we can give this thing a length, or a from and a to, from 0 to whatever the length of the current song is. So let's do that. But also, let's create a label underneath this so that we can, when we move around here, we can see what the position is. Let's print out the position, because we're going to need to know that later on. And it's good to just sort of wrap your brain around what it means when this thing moves, right? So let's do that as well. So let's head over to our text and let's create temporary slider label. And then let's just call this slider underscore label. And this is going to be a label. And we want to put it in root, and we want the text to start out as 0 because we want our slider to start at 0. And that's fine for now. And let's go slider underscore label dot pack. And maybe we'll give this a pad Y of 10 just to push it down the screen a little bit. Okay, so now we've got this slider label. Let's come up here to our slide function. And whenever we run this, let's give this a config and put the text to equal whatever the current thing is on our slider. So our slider is called mySlider. So we can just mySlider.get, and this is a function. So okay, let's save this and see what this looks like. So let's come back over here and run it. And it starts at 0. And when we move this, you'll notice this is a big long float, right? And we probably don't want this as a float because our song, check it out, if we add a song real quick and we start to play it, our song is in seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. We don't have it set up as a float. So we're gonna need to compare these two in the future. So we need to convert this number to an integer. So let's just do that real quick while we're thinking about it. And to do that, we could just wrap this whole thing in an int function. So if we save this and run it, now as we move this around, it stays as a whole number, an integer, so 71. And you'll notice it goes all the way up to 100, right? So from 0 to 100. And that's great starting out, but when we load a song, we want this 100 to not be 100, we want it to be the length of the song, of the current song. So let's add that. So we can head over to our playtime function, and whatever our current song length is, it's this function right here, right? So let's make this global so that we can access song length, right? And let's output it onto the screen in our slider thing. And let's just make this an F string and wrap all of this in curly brackets. And then let's just put song length and just see what song length is right now. So let's save this, run it again. So let's load up a song, start to play it. Down here it's 230, but remember we converted that to time. So if we move this over, we see it's 23 seconds of 150.98775. So song length here is being returned as a float. So we also need to convert that into an integer. So let's do that real quick. And we know we can do this just by, again, wrapping this in an int function if we wanted to. So save this and run it. So add a song, play it. So 37 of 139. So now we want this, when it gets to here, to be 139 of 139, right? So how do we do that? We know that song length, so this is song length, right? So whenever a song is played, we need that current song to change the label size of or to change the slider size, right? So we need to run this, we need to do some config whenever the play function runs, right? So let's head up to the play function. So here is, we're opening the song, and we're playing it, and then we're calling play time. Now let's also update slider to position. And let's just create a variable. Let's call this slider underscore position and set that equal to that int song length. And then let's go my underscore slider dot config, and let's set the to slider underscore position. And that should be good. Let's go ahead and save this and run it. So let's add song, play the song. Now here, you see it when we slide it up here, it says 139 of 139. If we add another song and play this, you can see now it's 150 of 150. Okay, so all right, this now updates based on the current song, right? So that's good. But say we're right here and the song is playing, right? And then we go to a different song. It doesn't move back to the beginning, and things are a little weird. So we want this to, whenever a new song plays, we want this slider to start over at the beginning. So let's do that real quick. Very easy. We just come down here to our, right where we were, where we configured the slider position, and we can also give it a value of 0. The value is the current thing it is. You know, when we .get it, we're getting the current value. So we want to start the value at 0 whenever the play function plays, because that means a new song is playing and it starts at 0. So let's save this and run it. And let's add some songs. Boom. Play this one. When we toggle it up, it's at 150. And let's just move it arbitrarily. And then we click another one. Boom, it starts over at 0 down here. Now these aren't updating, but we're gonna get rid of these labels down here anyway. These are just for information purposes. And when we toggle it, it goes to 139. If we go to a different one, boom, this starts over at 0. So, okay, that's looking good. So now we want the slider to start to move as the position of the song changes, right? So we can just copy this whole thing here, and that has to deal with the value. So let's head over to playtime. And remember from the last video, this is where we're sort of updating the song length and the position, the current time. And we have our status bar here, and it's outputting the converted current time, etc. So remember, we're converting the song length and the time into this time format, right? But we don't necessarily want that with the slider. We just want the seconds, the regular, 200 seconds, 40 seconds, whatever. We don't need it in time format because we need to compare it to the get value of our slider, which itself is not in time format. I guess we could convert it to that, but that seems a little silly. So here is the converted current time, and we're just getting we're using current time. So this current time is likely what we want. So let's come down here, and remember, every second this function replays itself because we have this .after function, right? So if we were to slap in right here and we just set the current value of the thing to, let's say, what was that? Where did it go? This current time, which I don't remember exactly what it looks like. So we will have to look at that here in a second. But if we come down here and set our value of our slider, so let's say update slider position value to current song position, right? And let's just see, play this. Let's just save this and run it real quick just to see if that worked and what's going on here. So let's grab this. Let's start to play it. You can See, now it's moving in time with this 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That looks good. Now we need to output this current time thing because I'm not sure if it's returning, I don't remember if it's returning a float or an int or what. So very quickly, let's just output that to the screen just so we can see what it is because I don't remember. So just right here, let's call this fake underscore label, and it's a label and it's in root, and we want the text to equal this current time thing. And let's go fake underscore label dot pack. And let's give this a pad Y of 10, just push it down a little bit. So let's save this and run it real quick just to see what we're dealing with here. So as this plays, yeah, so it's outputting this as a float. So we need to change that because I don't want this current time to be a float. So let's change this to int. Put our brackets there and this as well. So let's save this and run it one more time. Just see, make sure that that worked. So 2, 3, 4, and that's just repeating 4. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so we can get rid of that fake label now that we're on the same page and we know exactly what this current time thing is. So let's see, get rid of that. Okay, let's run this again. Add some songs. Our slider moves. This thing is no longer updating unless we were to, for instance, stop and click and drag a little bit, then it would. Okay, so this is looking good. Now, the only thing left to do now is make this to where as we drag it around, it updates the position of the song and starts to play that. And also it doesn't snap back to where it currently was, and we'll fix all that. But this video is getting a little bit long, so I think we'll stop it right here and we'll pick this up in the next video. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off membership. So you pay just $49 to access all my courses, over 45 courses, hundreds of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 100,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from codemy.com, and we'll see you in the next video.